Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to look at one of the most fascinating and frankly toughest challenges any organization faces, employee turnover. But we aren't just going to rattle off standard HR metrics. Actually, scratch that. We're going to frame this whole concept as a detective story. Because when someone walks out the door for the last time, they leave behind clues. And if you know how to structure and read the data, you can solve the case of why they truly left. Our primary suspect in this investigation? A little concept called reason-wise attrition.
So let's jump right in by confronting the ultimate mystery directly from our source text. It poses a deceptively simple question. Which is the most evident reason for which an employee leaves your organization? Think about that for a second. It's really a total mystery when one individual leaves, but finding the most evident, overarching reason across an entire company? Well, that's where the true detective work begins. Is it the compensation? Is it management? A lack of growth? Every single departure is a data point. Figuring this out is basically the holy grail for any leadership team that wants to retain their best talent.
All right, Section 1, Understanding Employee Departures. Let's get into it. To begin solving this mystery, we first need to establish our foundational tool, which is reason-wise attrition. Basically, this measures the exact number of employees who leave the company for various reasons. We're moving completely away from just looking at a single terrifying turnover number, like simply saying, oh, we lost 50 people this month. Instead, we're categorizing those departures. We're putting them into distinct, measurable buckets based entirely on the why. It's like taking a giant, blurry puzzle of general turnover and bringing it into sharp, analytical focus.
So, what's the actual goal here? The objective is literally just to know the number of employees separated for various reasons. You aren't just tracking the volume of people walking out the door, you're tracking the volume of the specific reasons they're leaving. If you don't confidently have this specific, granular evidence, your investigation is completely dead in the water. This is the raw data you absolutely must collect to move forward.
Moving right along to Section 2, Key Questions to Ask.
Now here is a brilliant analytical pivot from our source text. It asks, is there a considerable difference in reasons for attrition across department or division? We are no longer looking at the company as one giant single entity. We're zooming in with a magnifying glass, because honestly, the reasons people leave the sales department might be fundamentally different from the reasons people are bailing from the engineering division. Think about it like this. By comparing the reasons for leaving between a department and a division, we can spot some incredibly vital clues. Imagine your overall data shows that 50 people left for better pay. But when you compare those reasons by department and division, you suddenly realize, wait a minute, 45 of those people were all in one single specific division. Suddenly you don't have a vague company-wide compensation problem, you have a highly localized division problem. Comparing these segmented reasons is exactly how you isolate the root causes of your attrition.
Which brings us to Section 3, Tracking and Measuring Data. Let's look at how to actually process these clues.
To track this evidence, the source notes two distinct formats, looking at the raw number or calculating the ratio, and both are absolutely essential here. The number gives you the sheer volume, say 10 people left because of poor management. But the ratio? That gives you the impact and the proportional context. 10 people leaving a tiny department of 20, that is a massive structural crisis, right? That's a 50% ratio. But 10 people leaving a sprawling division of 5,000, barely a blip. By tracking both the raw number and the ratio, we make sure our evidence isn't distorted. And of course, this investigation isn't just a one-off, it's ongoing. The data is gathered across 3 distinct intervals in time: monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Think of this as the pulse of your investigation. Tracking monthly allows you to catch sudden, immediate spikes in specific reasons for leaving. Quarterly tracking helps you smooth out short-term anomalies and reveals medium-term departmental trends. And yearly, well, that gives you the ultimate macro view of your organizational health. You really need all 3 of these timelines to truly understand the rhythm and flow of your employee departures.
When you put it all together, cross-referencing your formats with your timelines, you get a matrix. We've got columns for monthly, quarterly, and yearly, and rows for the number and the ratio. This cleanly encapsulates how an organization measures departures, populating a grid with the specific reasons for leaving, categorized by department. It's the ultimate culmination of tracking reason-wise attrition. It takes all that chaotic human behavior and transforms it into a clear, structured, and solvable picture.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this provocative final question from our source to consider about the dynamics within your own organization. Ask yourself, is there a considerable difference in reasons for attrition across department or division in your workplace? Have you done the detective work to actually find out?
because the clues to retaining your absolute best people are out there in your data, just waiting to be uncovered. Thank you so much for joining me on this investigation into reason-wise attrition. Keep asking questions and definitely keep looking at that data.